Stop.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. We just finished NXT PLE Great American Bash over in Texas. And this is the first time we've got in, a pay-per-view on a Sunday from them. It's been a little minute. But it was a fantastic pay-per-view, PLE. In my opinion, I actually enjoyed. There was a couple of moments, and I'll get there, but for the most part, I did enjoy this. What were your initial thoughts about this as a whole before we dive in?
No, I really, really liked it, actually. There were a few things, same like you, like things that I could have done without, but for the most part, I think top to bottom, this PLE definitely delivered for me.
Yeah, I definitely think that they kind of started off really strong. Hey, I thought they started off really strong, and I was a little surprised that the first match was on a pre-show. I don't know why. I thought it would be part of the regular thing. That kind of thing. I was like, oh, okay, but I thought it was still a good way to kind of open it off. So let's jump right into it. So the first matchup, which was part of the pre-show, which was Metaphor, versus Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, and Girlies. And this was part of the pre-show. I really, really enjoyed this match. I thought there were moments that all of them kind of had their time to kind of really shine in it. Even like with the Metaphor, I do think Chikara and Lash Legend work really, really, really well together. And I feel like we're getting more and more, we're seeing them work better as a unit, and I liked that. I liked the matching gear. Like they had their own style, but clearly they were matching. And Mensa, he like on it, like really on it as far as some of them. I was like, okay, all right, I see it. But I also liked what Nathan Frazier was doing. I also liked, and so this was again a really solid way to open this. But as you see, Dragon Lee wind up winning by pinning Mensa, and they will win. And so I liked it. I did enjoy this, and I think like we have this stable with them, and it's gonna be, they're killing it, and I think both of them are, both groups are, and this was an entertaining open, well, not well, pre-show open, I guess, to this. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really fun. A great opener for like the whole show. For like, I know it was a pre-show, but that was the opener. That's the welcome in. And I really thought that they delivered. I thought that Yulissa and Valentina definitely had a lot of bright spots. I love when they do their dives and stuff. Even before Yulissa got injured, like I was like, "Ooh, this team, like there's someone to watch." But then she got injured. So hopefully now we can kind of build back, because I do think they're a really, really talented tag team. Same thing with Lash. Those pump kicks, girl, oh, she was eating. Like, I think Lash is like, she's like the Metaphor's own Rhea Ripley. Like, as Rhea is to the Judgment Day, that is what Lash is.
Yeah.
She is handling, when she did the pump kick and then did the clothesline and then was like, get in the ring, Norm. I was like, that's right, regulate. You better regulate. Oro, I was really happy to see him get a lot of offense and pull out stuff, as you said, like a lot of moves. I was like, thank you, because you know what? Oro, he gets very like slept on, I feel, within the group. And that's so not fair, because I think he's hilarious. I think that he's talented. And, like, he has so many like checks for me. And just, yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. The wrong people won. The Heritage Cup Steelers are thriving, which is just very, very sad for the collective. So again, what is it? Meta 4. Yeah, I'm all about that.
No, I definitely do think Yulissa and Valentina definitely had their moments where I was like, okay, ladies, all right. But I definitely thought they did well. I thought it was a nice pre-show opening. Which now leads us to the first matchup of the PLE, which is a tag team match for the NXT tag team titles with the family, Tony D'Angelo and Shannon Stacks versus Gallus. And so I did like that they did a little background again on him going to prison, him going to jail, um, and them kind of showing what led up um to the matchup, which I thought was pretty. I was like, okay, because I mean, unlike some other people on here with the prison, he actually, at least his prison looked more realistic. Like I'm like, all right, you got the glass and the phone calls, that looks pretty realistic. You had little the detective room when they question you up, they sort of play good cop, bad cop stuff. And so I thought that was entertaining. Both teams did come out with different type of entrance videos, which I thought the family, of course, had like the rats running away, and then they had, with Joe Coffey talking to Gallus. Tony D'Angelo did came out in like a prison orange velour sweatsuit, which I was a little annoyed because it reminded me of like the guys who hang out by the bodegas who just be starting people. That's the vibe I got from that. And then Gallus was Green. There was a moment that Wolfgang, I think, did like a he got kind of caught by Merc when they did like a running senton, I believe. And I thought they did like a combo superplex and diving headbutt, which was pretty cool. And there was even a moment when Joe tried to distract the referee by pulling out a weapon, which allowed Gallus to do their Gallus skate, but Tony D'Angelo was able to break it up. But this was actually, again, really well done. I did like Gallus at one point, but I don't know, I just was not feeling this run as tag. Like, I don't feel like I was like really excited to see them as NXT tag champions. And so with a CSUC, a very ecstatic Tony D'Angelo there, the family are now the new NXT tag team champions. I think both of us did say that this is probably going to happen, just because after all that made the most sense. It just like, what other reason would you have for them to lose this? I felt like that was naturally the course it should have taken. And Gallus is a good tag team, but I personally have been over it for a hot little minute. I'm just like, I guess. So we do have new NXT tag champions. So what were your thoughts on that matchup?
The rats in the beginning, that was so nasty. Like I jumped when I saw it and screamed. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, why would you do that? Um yeah, no, I enjoyed this match for what it was. Was it my favorite match on the card? No, but I enjoyed most matches on the card, so that's not really saying much because I just thought that they definitely brought something. Gallus, I do agree with you when you said like, I'm a fan. Like, I do like them, especially like when Wolfgang pulled out that moonsault. Like, it was a thing. It was beautiful.
It was.
Okay, that was a PME right there. Okay, very nice. But yeah, I'm glad that Tony and Stacks won because I feel like when you remember that War Games match, you remember those four. It was Braun, Grayson, I believe, Mello, and then Tony. And then I feel like Tony got, plagued with, an injury, and that set him back. And everyone else from that four kind of kept going forward. So I'm happy that now he's getting that time to be in the spotlight, have a title, because I think he deserves it. So it's really nice to see him get some gold. And Stacks too, like Stacks, was getting his chance and stuff. Like, shout out to you, Stacks. Like, I'm a big Stacks fan, even though I thought he was going to turn on Tony, but I was definitely going to take his side, whatever. But yeah, no, I'm happy for them. I'm happy they won.
I bet you said you would take side. Are you a Stacks apologist? That means you'd have just been like, whatever.
I love a good bad guy.
There's some people I might have to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Blind to all of it. But no, I'm actually really glad that they got it. And I do think, if anything, if you go another two, I do like Stacks more than Tony D'Angelo, because he literally just reminds me of like the guys and some of these Brooklyn delis. Like, I don't even call it bodega, because usually you call it a bodega. It's like a Spanish guy running the spot. But like the Brooklyn delis, especially certain parts of Brooklyn, because that's where I was and as a kid, and you just see the guys just by the store, and you're just like, and you just know shenanigans. You just know. That's the
Everything.
vibe Tony D'Angelo gave me. And he didn't help wearing that velour suit. It did not help he's wearing that. I was like, why are
I'm
you in
sorry.
velour? Like, you know, it's in Texas. You know you hot. You know you hot. It is degrees. It's hot. Stop playing.
Wasn't it like velvet too, like the fabric? I'm like,
Yeah, this is velour.
sir, you're hot.
Nobody asked you to be wearing that, bro. But I am glad we did get new tag champions, and hopefully they do something nice and interesting with this run, which leads us to our first women's matchup, Weapons Wild match with Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport. Which so they did start off, showing a little bit of what happened leading up, including the beatdown in the gas station, and then they showed the little segment where Roxanne Perez was talking to our very own girly, Emily May, who was doing her thing in Texas at DreamCon. Shout out to Emily. I was hyped. I was like, yes, girly. Get the rounds in. Let them know. Again, we are the number one women's wrestling show on the planet, guys. Hello, hello, hello. And that just proved it. And so that was really cool. And then they got into a brawl at DreamCon. I think the best part of me watching that again was watching the random people who clearly were not wrestling fans who looked really concerned. And to me, that was great because I was like, "Oh, you can tell they don't know what's going on." And they like, "Wait, what's happening?" And like the poor lady had her little chest like this, and I was like, "Oh, sis probably think it's getting real, like in real." But so they also showed Roxanne taking her time, which is what I knew Blair was gonna come out because he was taking too much time. She hugged the family, hugged all the fans, and then Blair comes in from the crowd in a hoodie, and then she did a thing, a moment where she kind of choked Roxanne with a belt in front of her family. Sister started crying, and so she used a cowbell, I believe, to kind of stop all of that. I thought there was also a moment she did a running knee into the steel steps on Blair and did a frog splash to the table, which I thought was really good. Again, this is also her hometown. As we know, she is from Texas. This is also, Booker T's, it's called the Prodigy. This is Booker T's student, which is why they showed the clip. However, of her talking to Booker T and pretty much telling her she got to get it together. I do think this was better than the first round between the two of them. I felt like they had a little bit more fun with it. I do think that it put her back on the right track. I still don't necessarily think I buy her being necessarily really tough, but they showed it. Personally, I did say to myself while I was watching it that if you did it in front of my kid, like my kid, and I'm waiting in the audience and you doing this to my kid, we're gonna fight. Like, I'm like, excuse you, because you're not gonna do this to my sister or my kid. Like, you better pick your battles wisely, sis. Me and Blair would be having it out. Me and her would be having it out. And Roxanne's little sister really did look stressed out. I felt bad for her. I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so sad. Like, she looks really hurt. But Roxanne hit a super awesome pop rocks on a pile of steel chairs and did because it's pretty much like a spinning like she reversed the spinning net break. I thought it was really well done. And Roxanne, which I think was the right person, did win this matchup. Again, this was her hometown. It made no sense for her to lose this. Blair kind of got the upper hand a couple of times. So you can't have her do all of this and have her beat her up in the gas station for her to lose. So perfect person to win this. I think that was the right move. And yes, I was really happy with this. And I was like, yes, Roxanne. And also as a mom and a sister, I was like, this could not have been my kid because me and Blair, as soon as she would have got in my face, we would have been like, all right, Blair, to the back. So she'll play this kind of game. You play this kind of game. Let's go to the back. Let's put my hair up in some pins, and I'm usually in sneakers and sweats anyway. And so I'm prepared. Like, sis, let's go to the back. You're playing games. So don't touch my kid. I can't, and this is why my kids can't be wrestlers because I would really be upset for real. And I know it's like I know because I'm a fan and I know this, but me being a mom is gonna just bypass all of that, and I'm gonna just like, oh, so we fighting today. This is what you want to fight today, and so. But otherwise, right person won. I was really happy with it. I thought there was good spots, and I loved the pop rocks on the steel chair. I thought that was a really nice touch. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
Oh no, I really enjoyed this. Like the things that they were doing to each other, I was like, oh, okay, this is beef. This is real beef. Um, I was a little bit like hesitant because I'm like, I feel like on both ends, both women didn't really need to lose. And I hated that they were going against each other, but I knew someone had to lose. And I guess it makes the most sense for Roxanne. She did take a very big hit, after, the title loss. And she's being built back up. And, I'm happy for that because I do think she's great. But Blair, and even though she did get a win on Roxanne already, so it's kind of like they're evened out, so that she doesn't really lose too much steam, to be honest. But it's still like,
yeah,
this is like, isn't this like her first PLE back? So it's like,
yeah, it is.
So,
But I felt
but
like you can't have her do all that in her whole time and lose. That'd be kind of pointless. Like you did her all this, had the dream con. I don't think I've ever seen her wrestling angle like that at dream con. I don't think I've ever seen that. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I guess this will explain why Emily was there, because she did say she was doing something. She didn't say what it was. And I'm like, okay, Emily, you know, I felt the way I felt when she was in New Japan. I was like, oh, I know her. That's really right there. Like, we know her for real. Not pretend know her. Like, we really know her. So that was pretty cool. Which then leads us to this match that nobody really asked for, but here we are. Gable Stevenson versus Baron Corbin. And so again, I felt like you guys heard me Thursday when I said, who was sitting here every day? Hey, thank you for popping in. Who was sitting here going, I can't wait to come home from work and see Corbin on my TV? Who said that? Not a soul. And so he went into the wilderness, he went into the woods doing these shenanigans, like he's gonna come out better. And granted, he had a new theme song and he had like the Titantron with the like the British ship, whatever. But I'm just like, I guess if this is what we getting, this is what we getting. And so the match was not long because it was barely a match. I do think he has a couple of good suplexes, if anything else. I do think something is missing or he needs something else. I don't know if it's training, whatever, but even though he's an actual wrestler, he's like an Olympian, and that's super awesome and that's super cool. But something is not translating on the main part here. I don't really know. I think his brother might be have a bit edge on him, honestly. When it comes to some things translating in WWE, it's not translating for me, and that's unfortunate. Did you think of they did say the audience was saying you're not Kurt Angle, because they were saying that to him why he was wrestling, and then you think of Kurt Angle, who was also an Olympian, who always told everybody he broke he wrestled a broken neck, blah blah blah, but he actually was able to integrate himself into WWE where it worked. And so I don't know what's missing, and maybe he needs to talk to Kurt. I don't know, maybe he needs to do that, but it just wasn't hitting. But the point is, they wound up having a count out. They ended the match, so there was really no winner. And then we got a brawl afterwards with security came in and it got real crazy. And they beat up the refs a couple of times, and he went through now it was a whole bunch of stuff that happened, and that was probably better than the actual match. And that's unfortunate. Literally, Gable kind of suplexing Baron through the ringside barricade was really solid, and that was the best part of it. And that's sad because I'm like, well, I didn't want this match anyway. I was like, I wasn't. This is what I called the bathroom match. This was the match. If I was there in person, maybe I would have got a couple of snacks from the concession stand, or I would have took that time to be like, oop, it's halfway mark. Let me go use the bathroom. And so when it's time for me to dip, I can dip without having to go to the bathroom with 50 people on the line. That's what I would have done in this match if I was there. But because we had to do this show, I did have to sit there and watch it. And now here we are. And I wasn't happy about this. I was like, this is what you're given. This is what you're given, I guess. Corbin. You went into the wilderness and this is what you gave us. I feel like, yes, I'm going to have to say this was the weakest thing on the card to me. We didn't ask for this. I get you, whereas you guys wanted to get him on to have his debut. I don't think he's even ready. Honestly, I think he needs a little bit more time. And again, Baron Corbin is boring as hell. I was highly annoyed. And so here we are, that's what we got. And we really didn't need that. And again, this is what I called the bathroom break match. We didn't need this. Oh, I just want to put this back up here because this is what I'm talking about. This is what he deserved for wasting my time, not only on Tuesday, wasting weeks talking about he was going to come back better than ever. And all he did was reveal a new song. Like, ooh. okay, you got a new song, whoop-de-doo, and that was it. He did nothing. So he deserved to be laid out on the floor like this because you wasted my time again, messing up my Sunday with shenanigans. But and obviously that's what Baron was there for. That was obvious. But I feel like he's missing something. I don't know what it is, but something is missing, and he needs something to put a fire under him because it's not working. I think his brother has better and it's crazy because he's an Olympian, but as far as WWE type wrestling, I think his brother's better at it, and that's crazy to me. But here we are. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
Oh my god, that's so true. Like, he really did all this. He went to the woods with pitchforks, stared at his other self that was happened to somehow be shorter. I don't understand how you stare at yourself, but your other self was shorter. That was confusing to me. And then nothing changed. Like, what was the point? Like, this is the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life, that you would do this. You would just lie to the general population like that. Um, and then Gable, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it was a little something a little bit off for me. I think he, obviously looked great. And he has great, belly to bellies. Like, he eats those up. Shout out to you. But as a whole, the match was kind of like, and then for it to end like that, I think if they spent a little bit more, instead of like, I think feel like it was a week before, they're like, here you go. If you would have built it, and I really would have felt like they really don't like each other, maybe I would have felt, but like these men is fighting like this is schoolyard beef. They just made the match like last week. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it's a faking. Like, it just wasn't. It just didn't hit for me. Like, but I didn't like the crowd was like kind of eating him up. I'm like, listen, it takes two. Y'all better eat them both up. Why you just eating up Gable? Like, that is not right. He is trying his very best.
And that his best is not great. However, you're gonna get on him. You better get on Raggedy Corbin, who again wasted a good time, a good 15 minutes of a Sunday that nobody asked. I gave him more time than it was. It was even 10 minutes. He wasted all this time. It's just, I don't know.
And the pay-per-view was eating too. It's like, why would y'all come out here and do this?
This killed it. Did it killed the momentum of it? It really did, because nobody asked for this. I'm like, why are we? So, like I said, I guess what he did in the woods was give us a new song. That was the part.
And it wasn't even a good song, honestly.
I'm guessing that's what he did. That was the woods. That's what the woods gave us. It gave us the song. That's what we're doing. I mean, but like I said, this is the same nonsense I was feeling when Jinder Mahal was wasting my time. It's the same thing. Now he's wasting my time every Tuesday doing that. Like, what are you here for? We did not ask for you. I swear, Shawn Michaels, I did not say give me Baron Corbin. I didn't say that. Katrina did not say that. And so this is where we are. And I'm highly annoyed by that because it's pure shenanigans. But
totally agree, Joseph. Totally agree. They could have built it up way better.
They could have done it if they waited a little bit. I don't know why they wanted to do it here, but it did feel, he just told him on Tuesday. So what was that, like 5 days ago? He was going to wrestle him. It made no sense. But here we are. This is what we got.
I feel like it was a double like protection ending, because I feel like they didn't want Corbin to take another loss, but also they didn't want Gable to take a loss. Gable wasn't, if they actually wanted to give a winner, it was definitely not going to be Corbin. But I feel like they wanted to protect them both. So I feel like it was a double protection ending.
I mean, it could have been. I just felt like that it brought down the momentum of the show. But yeah. Before we go into the next match up, though, let's go to some words from our lovely CEO, TK Trinidad.
Hey peeps, TK Trinidad here, boss lady of Women's Wrestling Talk. And I want to say thank you so much for watching, because you've got millions of options. Plus, you don't have to worry about sharing your password to check us out. But while you're here, hopefully you know we have so many more shows to watch, like Turnbuckle Glam, Raw post-show, WoW post-show, AEW Dynamite post-show, Women's Wrestling Army post-show, NXT post-show, Impact Wrestling post-show, AEW Rampage and SmackDown Live post-show, On the Scroll, ROH post-show, WWT Live, plus all of our interviews with the hottest women's wrestlers in the game. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our website at www.talkpod.com and follow us on all social media platforms at www.talkpod, and make sure to spread the word. That means send this to the group chat. Yes, even the person with the green bubble. Thanks again so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
As you heard from our boss lady, we have a whole bunch of shows almost every single day of the week. And we truly, truly appreciate you guys hanging out with us, sometimes multiple times in a day. Because some of us got shows like double in the same day. And so we love you guys, appreciate you guys for hanging out with us every show. And let's bring it back to the Great American Bash, which next matchup was a triple threat match for the NXT North American title with Dominic Mysterio versus Wesley and Mustafa Ali. And so I actually enjoyed this match. I did. I thought there were moments that was really well done. And so I guess before, because I guess this was part of the little clip, they did show a moment where JC Jane was attacked Lyra backstage, which apparently this is right before Rhea Ripley and Dominic headed to the ring. Dominic really got the amount of boos they gave him coming out. They really booed him up. He got a lot of boos coming up. And Wesley and Mustafa did agree in the beginning to beat up Dom. And it worked for a little bit, but it didn't last long because, we also had Rhea Ripley there, and I felt like that was a big important part of that. There was a moment where Dom went for the Three Amigos to do it on Wesley, but then Mustafa got involved, and so he tried to double suplex them, but Wesley and Mustafa wound up doing Three Amigos together on him. There was also a moment that Mustafa did a mixture of a camel clutch and a Boston crab to both Dominic and Wesley, which I thought was super cool. And then Dom got out of it, but then Mustafa super kicked both of them and went for the 450 on the apron, which was, I was like, oh, okay. Well, then let's let you get a little crazy. Because he missed it, and that could have been really bad. And then he was gone a little bit for like a good chunk of the match. And so there was some moments with Rhea Ripley and Wesley, which I thought was really good. Like she was someone he better not. And then, he wound up, doing it, like jump over her to kind of take out Dom. But then she did a riptide to him through the announce table. And even with all of that, Wesley still kicked out. And he even kicked out again when she hit him with her Women's World Championship to the face. But I'm gonna have to say, well, this was fantastic. I thought Wesley stole the show. I'm gonna be honest. He absolutely, and they all did well. And I thought even with Dominic looking confused at points when like Rhea was like trying to help him and he didn't know what to do after that. And I was like, he played that well enough that it's like he's really relying on her to get him through this. And I don't know that will be a problem later on, but I definitely was like, okay. And I thought that he played that well. And so that's just off to this top comment that you say he didn't do much. I think that's the point. I think he's kind of, Rhea's supposed to be there to like protect him. It's kind of like what she's been doing. And so I felt like he played really well into that. I wouldn't mind seeing Rhea go against Amanda. I'm not gonna listen. I feel like she can do it. I feel like if you're gonna put her with one of them the cruiserweight guys, okay. I'm okay with it. I'm gonna be extra for her. But I thought it was decent. However, with all of that being said, it was a moment where Mustafa did hit Wesley with a 450 splash, but I did say, out loud while this was playing that Rhea Ripley is still outside of the ring. He is not going to get off that easily. And so when he, tried to get it, she pulled him off of that pin, and Dominic did his frog splash to retain his championship belts. And again, I did say that if you're trying to make people really upset that he won in the first place, or you're trying to make people upset that Judgment Day is supposed to be running WWE right now, then it makes sense for him to keep the belt. And so he did. And so, you see everybody looking really sad about this, but Dominic Mysterio retained his NXT North American Championship. And so I guess we'll see what happens next with Wesley. If he's going to be done with it, or if he will be somewhere else, what's going to happen with Mustafa Ali. Because I did say I want to have minded, because why was he brought to NXT if you're going to have him at least try to win the belt like that? At least give him something for going back to NXT. But yes, that is how this match ended. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
I really, really like this. I think that the added of Rhea just kind of like took it up, the riptide onto the table. That was crazy. Just like her getting involved, like, and then Wesley kind of like it was almost like he spent most of the match thwarting all of Rhea's attempts to try and like help Dom to win. And it was cute. It was cute until the end when it actually worked. It was too late. There was a last one he couldn't thwart, but it was cool just seeing like Wes, like he's like the new takeover, Wes over, but instead it's PLE. I'm gonna figure out a very cool word for it because that just sounds crazy. Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed it. I feel like, yeah, of course, there were times where Dom, was looking one way or whatever, but I feel like the match still worked. Joseph, I do get what you're saying. I understand like the frustration of it. Like, if we want to see Rhea defend her title more and kind of focus on her reign. But I do think that there is something with the whole Rhea and Dom thing. And I understand it's like, oh, they want to recreate the Eddie China thing, but it is a formula that works. Unfortunately, like it is. The proof is in the pudding. There's Beth Santino, ODB, Eric Young. Like it's a formula that works. Like people love to see, the powerful woman with the guy who's kind of like, willing to let her take the lead. Like it just sells. And it's over. It's very over. Look at the way that Dom gets booed. Like, come on. So it just makes sense in that end, but I do get your frustration with Rhea not focusing on her own reign. I do get that though. But I really, really enjoyed this match. And I'm kind of happy to see Dom, continuing on. And it seems like he is on a mission to attack any man wearing a mask in WWE in general. So we'll see where that takes him.
Yeah, I do think we can. Rhea should also will do more of her title because I was hyped that she won it in the first place. So I agree, but I do think it does work. It works. Dom does get booed every time. Every time they didn't even let the man get, and she's already getting booed. I mean, whatever. You know, I always had to say to people before, everybody who was comparing him and Hook, and I'm like, well, what is Hook doing? What is Dom doing? And I'm not saying anything about Hook's skill. I clearly he knows a little something, something, but look at Dom. Dom is thriving. As I freaking said, I was like, listen, guys, give him a little bit, give him a little bit. He'd be fine. No, he should be like he's dead, blah, blah, blah. And now look at him now, getting rightful heat the way he is supposed to get. All I'm saying is, Dom is doing what he needs to do. I still do not, accept Christendom because I'm not.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, I like that. PLE.
Every time he like listen, he be still in the show. He do what he needs to do. He definitely does. He definitely does. So this leads me to a match that highly, 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 highly agitated my soul. So the next and final women's match of the night was for the NXT Women's Championship with champion Tiffany Stratton and Thea Hail from Chase U. And so I really was hyped that she came out with her boxing robe. I was like, yes, because like get you pumped up, get you hyped. You had the whole like this. I was hyped. I was hyped for this. I really was. Okay, I really was. And then I had to, sit through, Tiffany Stratton just coming out, I guess, wasting my time, her little cowgirl. I'm like, all right, you want to be Barbie, I guess. I mean, whatever, do you? I can't even say anything because Barbie's cool right now, whatever. But I was annoyed. And so Tiffany did do like a early surfboard lock, but Thea kind of reversed it pretty quickly into an umbar and teased a little bit of Kimura lock, but she wound up getting out of it. And then you saw Duke Hudson. And this was the one time I know we used to talk shit about Duke Hudson, we do. But I was a little less annoyed with him this time because while he did hold the trophy, and that was no need for his trophy to be there. So he did hold his trophy. There was no need for it to be there, but he seemed really invested. He seemed really behind Thea, and I was like, yes, yes. And don't even see, you're about to get. I was getting there. I was getting there. They said she was doing the Boston Crab, and I was like, is she? Is she doing the Boston Crab? Is this what's really happening? Sis can barely get it together. She can barely hold these submissions. She was struggling to pick her up and everything. I'm like, girl, you are bigger than Thea. This should be a piece of cake. Why are you struggling? I should struggle. I'm a little person, okay? I can't be lifting people up. You supposed to be the champion, this tippy top Tiffany, and this is what we get. So I was annoyed by that, but I was even more annoyed. I'll tell you what I was annoyed. So anyway, Tiffany got Thea in the Diamond Cross party, and then once again, Thea tried to do the Kimura, but Tiffany wound up superplexing her into like the bottom turnbuckle, and then Thea did get her in the Kimura after superplex, but Tiffany was able to get out of that. And she tried one more time, and then she was sent to the barricade into the steel steps. Which this was, I always say this in matches in general. This is maybe because Thea is, again, they did say she's 19, just got out of high school a year ago, so she's literally new. Like, she's really new. She came right out of high school, and so my always thing is, if you're gonna put somebody in submission, you never have them to the rope. You do a Kurt Angle and you slide their ass to the middle of the leg. Oh, you thought you was gonna use the rope. No. Slide, choo choo to the middle. Choo choo to the middle. And we didn't get that. And so I was a little, I was like, all right, dear, you're gonna pass because you knew you're gonna pass. But even Tiffany, I'm like, Tiffany, you supposed to be a champion. You use champion techniques. Like, what is this? What is this? Who? No. What? No. And so I was annoyed because all of a sudden you see Thea and she's like, it's getting tough. I'm like, oh my God, like, don't you tap. I was telling her, don't you tap. You better hear me from New York. Hear me, Thea. Don't you tap. And then, freaking Raggedy Andre and Chase want to do shenanigans and throw a towel in. First of all, why? Did her eyes wasn't closed yet. It was still open. She wasn't really moving, but her eyes wasn't closed. She didn't do the Stone Cold pass out. Stone Cold never like to tap. He will pass out right there, but I ain't tapping. She didn't do any of that. Andre looked so stressed about trusting that she knew what she was doing that he threw the towel in. And I was like, now here we go. This is a situation that, and yes, I also believe there was a point that like, she did tap again. But here we go, because the referees apparently NXT can't see nothing. They're blind, clearly. There's Stevie Wonder in the ring, clearly. And so that's what happened again. And so he threw the towel in there. And I'm like, listen here, sir. The only towels being thrown where is a logical reason is when Rocky threw that in for Apollo Creed in Rocky 4, and he did it too late because Apollo was all beat up by this point. And then when poor Jimmy kind of had to throw it in there for Jay because Roman had kicked his ass all across the ring. And I'm like, I love you all, but Roman is my guy. And so, if he beat you up, sorry, Jay, gotta take this L. And that was the only 2 times throwing the towel was acceptable. There, you don't throw the towel in for Tiffany, have Tiffany think she better. And then let's just go back to this comment, Ron. Thank you for this comment, Ron, because thank you. Thank you. How is she supposed to be so in shape and she works out and do all this cardio, but sister's struggling? She was struggling, and I was annoyed. How are you champion? How are you champion struggling? How are you struggling to pick up Thea? She is tiny. She's one of the tiniest women on the roster. What are we doing? And so I was annoyed. But unfortunately, because of these shenanigans, he threw the towel in. Tiffany did retain. And the fact that even Duke looked a little bit disgusted, I was like, you know what? We don't even like Duke. Duke get on our nerves. This is the one time I was on Duke's side. I was like, you know what, Duke, you're right. You look at Andre with disgust. Because, and even with this being her first title defense, she didn't really win this correctly either because the towel got thrown in. She didn't even really submit her. So it's like, why are we doing this? And now I gotta pour, I was hyped for her. I was like, yes, let this be this getting youngest women doing the NXT women's title. And then y'all go, how come out with the box of rules, had her people chant, and here goes Andre with his hating ass throwing the towel in. And so now I'm like, now I'm looking at you. Now I'm looking at you, look at Duke, Andre. Now I gotta give you the Duke look. Now I gotta give you the Duke look. What's this? What's this? Because even Duke looked disgusted. And I'm like, if we gotta agree with Duke, what does that say for us as a whole? If we have to sit here, if we gotta sit here and look at Duke and be like, you know what, Duke, you're right. What does that say about him? We don't want to agree with Duke. We don't agree with him. And now I was here having like, goddamn, you're right, Duke. Like, look at him with disgust. And so, unfortunately, because of these shenanigans, Tiffany did retain, and I know people were happy because they like Tiffany, even though the only thing she got going for her is a moonsault. Because clearly she can't do a Boston Crab. Try to tell people, y'all keep hyping up because she's pretty. She is pretty, but she can't wrestle that well. I'm gonna keep saying that to the very end until she gets together. That struggling of picking up Thea, who's not that big. Thank you. We gotta agree with Duke. That is a problem. I would agree with him. I was gonna look at him like, you know what, Duke, you're right. Look at him with disgust. So Tiffany did retain, I guess, if you want to call it, but this is once again a win of, it's like every title when she's on defense of this, it's always some really weird stuff happening where it's not a legit clean win. And so then does not help her case as far as being the champion. This does not help her case for me to say this is why I don't think she should be champion. Why is every title defense or every time you have a match with this belt, it's some kind of weird shit happening every time. This doesn't look good on her. But whatever, on you Tiffany fans who like her so much, I roll. She kept the belt, I guess. Whatever. What were your thoughts, Shay? Because agitation.
Is it safe to come out? Not gonna. After that, so I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what to say, because I noticed all the things that you noticed. Like there were some things that I was like, oh, like even when Thea kind of went to the outside, I think it looked like she was trying to go for some type of dive or like a DDT of some sorts, and I think there was just miscommunication, and she just ended up falling out. Like it was really weird. I don't know. And then there was another time, like I think Tiffany had a problem with like keeping her like breath, or like I feel like her cardio was off or something, because she was tiring out, especially even when doing the was it Boston Crab, like kept falling, that and the camera like having to zoom so deep in to not like focus on how she was struggling with the Boston Crab. I'm like, no. Like it's like she has things like, because you see there's certain moves she has, like when she's in her element when she's being able to do her acrobatic stuff. But when it comes to like that more technical stuff, like it's always seems to be like a bit of a miss for her sometimes. Like she's still working on that. In terms of the whole thing with Andre, I really think he did it on purpose. Like I really think he felt away because he's like, y'all see that Duke was trying to be funny with me, and I get injured. I dip for a little bit to get myself together, and y'all sitting in class entertaining the bull. So I feel like he had a little like a small plan that he's plotting to like turn on them, because he's like, y'all fake. And it's like I kind of can see where he's coming from. Like I can't even really be too mad, because y'all saw all the crap that Duke was talking through NXT Anonymous. I'm sure all the NXT people are following that account. Y'all didn't care. Y'all sat in the class with this man, kikiing with his op. So I kind of see where he's coming from. It's like, yeah, I kind of would do the same. Like, and I like that he kind of is. I swear to you, I feel like he's on something. I really do feel like he is on his get back. He really is. Thea, I'm sorry you was collateral damage, but he said I'm getting my get back by any means necessary. Thea, you did your thing. Like you really did. Like Thea really, really did her thing. But Andre said he's going to get his respect one way or the other. And Duke, I don't give a damn. Do him bad every time. I don't care, because you real funny. Like you started all this attention. Chase, you was just fine before you walked up in here with your tall self. So you know what, Andre, get your lick back, because this is so nasty. This is nasty work.
Oh my God.
Thea, I am so sorry that you're collateral damage. You are a 19. You will have another chance. You will. Tiffany, girl, we're gonna have to talk about that Boston Crab. Oh my goodness. But you ate that Barbie look up. I will tell you that. You definitely ate that Barbie look up. I can't even
No,
hate.
she looked great. But I'm like, if this is how you do a Boston Crab, then I could do one. This what you need? If this is how you do a Boston Crab, then I could do a Boston Crab. We in this together, sis. Because no, it was a terrible Boston Crab. Terrible. She was struggling. It looks like how I feel if I like bend, like, because my knees ain't great anymore. And so if I like bend down and try to pick something up outside, I'm like, shit, my knee. That's what happened. That's what that was happening right
She
there.
need the Megan knees. She need the Megan knees. That's what she needed.
And I'm like, sis, get it together, Miss Tippy Top. Clearly, you not at the top there. Clearly, your Boston Crab was the bottom. It was the pits. That's what her tippy top was. The best part was that damn moonsault. That was the best part, as it always is. She got that one move that is always fantastic, and then everything else. If that's what you want to call better, I guess you are being kind. You are being kind. I won't even call it better. She's been sitting there being pretty, and oh my God, I'm the most beautiful, prettiest person, and she still can't wrestle. Y'all have to let it go. The fact that people thought she should have beat Roxanne is insane to me. That y'all thought she was supposed to go over Roxanne. About Roxanne did too much. Did she? Did she do too much? Because at least she can do her moves without looking like she's dying. At least she can sit there and not look like she did 2 hours of cardio, and this why she's struggling. Okay? I'm not in the best shape, but ma'am, if that's Boston Crab, then
You,
I'm good at Boston Crab. We in it. So
you know what, Joseph? That's so true. I don't understand that. I think maybe it was the added aspect of like submission because I don't think that's her strong suit. I think that added some type of like just threw her off because that is so true. Like,
and
how
that
is it
might
you're
have
finding
been, but
other?
guess what that means then? Then she shouldn't be NXT champion. Don't be saying talking about, oh, I was kind from the kindness of my heart and I gave her a rematch. Did you though? Because you did tap. When she said her hand just graced the ring. Did it, sis? We gonna play, we just making up words now for what tapping out is? So if that's what if tapping is just my hand touched the ring a couple of times, then I'm an Olympian like her angle. I got me some medals, guys, because if this is we're gonna tell delusions, then I am delusionally an Olympian gold medalist. Who knew? And so here we are. Here we are. Here we are. So now I have to look, but I'm like, the fact that I do appreciate your energy with Duke stays the same. You know, your energy all around, and you know what? I respect when the energy just stays the same. I do. You know, your Duke energy is always on like, no, fuck him. And I respect that because, you know, that's how I feel about Baron Corbin. I just, every time I'm like, no, absolutely not. No, don't care. And yes, she probably did lower her skills because Tiffany is pretty and that is, and she got a good moonsault. The fact that I saw something earlier talking about she want to take on Bianca or Charlotte. Are you joking? Bianca? Bianca? EST? Miss Ma'am, you want to take on you want to take on Charlotte? Charlotte, you get real. Get real. If you're taking on Bianca and Charlotte, I'm taking on Bianca. So, you know, put me in the ring with fucking Big Show. Put me in the ring with him. I'll take him on in that case. If you think you can stand there with Charlotte and Bianca, then I can stand there with Big Show. This is how ridiculous she was sounding. Talking about you want to take on Bianca. And people, it's going to be a great match. How? If she's struggling to pick up Thea and Bianca could pick up Otis, I don't even understand how ridiculous that sounds. Bianca could pick up Otis like light work. She was struggling with Thea. I'm supposed to buy that match. I'm supposed to believe. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay? Get out of here. Pure shenanigans. And so, reel it back in. She is still champion. I gotta see another week of her talking about being at the tippy top of mediocrity. Again, I just the day somebody tell me, oh, she's fighting on Bianca, I'm gonna have a whole like they're not even like somebody. I will call Triple H myself right in Connecticut. Listen here, Paul, because you're gonna stop these games. Listen here, Paul. Let's get it in. Let's get it together. You better not even make. You better tell Vince. Now Vince better come in and put his foot down. Come in, Vince. Put your foot down. Just cut that right now. Cut it down right now. Don't even put that negativity in the air. Negativity. Negativity. Nobody wants that match. Charlotte and Bianca. Get real. Can't fight Thea, but you must take on Charlotte, who's a how many time champion? Bianca, who pick up Otis like she's throwing a piece of bread across the table. Get real. No, absolutely not. So this leads us to he can come off in his spinal surgery from the bed. Okay, we saw him in the bed before, and granted it was a storyline, and Stone Cold beat him up. The point is, he can be all he got to do is do a little tappy tap and be like, "This ain't happening," and shut it all down. Shut it down, Vincent. Shut it down. Shut it down. And so let's bring it together. Let's get my zen in. Let's get this to let's get this to the main event. I feel like I have to clip that just because I want a whole thing. I'll have to clip that. To our main event, which we was really stressed out. You know, I had to say when he came out with the goatee, and I was like, you know what? You did say that the goatee added some extra je ne sais quoi to him, and I was like, okay, I see it. And so we had our NXT Championship match with him him. Mello is money. Carmelo the champ versus my guy, because he is my guy too. You know, Iron Dragunov is my guy. He's been my guy since NXT UK. Just doing, I was a little bit, I didn't know what was going on with the eyes. I was like, are we doing cosplaying?
Hated it.
I wasn't happy about it. You can't come out with a nice goatee. You can't come out dressed the way you was on Tuesday with the turtleneck chain and you know the shoes that clearly was a little too tight. Those are church shoes. You know, church shoes that you know you stood up a little too long and now your feet is hurting. You might get corns and stuff. That was those type of shoes. But the point is, you cannot come out looking like that and then all of a sudden you're wearing these random red vampire like Vittori from Twilight eye contacts. What's happening? What's happening here? And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And so I was like, oh, you know. but Melo came out looking the way he's supposed to look. You can tell he got his little shape up. You can see it. I was like, oh, he got touched up. Somebody they braided it. They did it well. And so this was a great match. I was really happy. Oops, sorry guys, because I didn't get enough pictures by the point we had to get live. My bad. But the point is, my bad. My bad. I forgot I didn't get to add the last couple of pictures on there. But pretty much I actually really did enjoy this matchup. I thought it was really well done. Trick did not do his normal interest for him, which I thought. And so Ala came out with his red contacts. Vic Joseph said something about he was seeing red. And then they had a Dusty Rhodes quote to hype up Melo, saying, "Get a dream, hold on to it, and shoot for the sky." And while I know people like Dusty Rhodes, Katrina is not, I mean, I guess, and at the risk of people being upset that I said this, whatever. Carmelo super kicked into the ropes, and then he rebounded with a Constantine special, which was pretty cool. And then he did some forearm like smashes and like a hammerlock submission. And I was like, oh, okay, like got me a little worried. And I'm like, whoa. He did also, Melo did a top rope cutter, which was really awesome as well. But this match was super physical. I thought this was really well done. And I felt like, you know, they really kicked it up in the last like 4 minutes of the match. I really thought they really hit, like did their thing. And as we said, I do think this could have went any either way, honestly. Because Carmelo is Carmelo and he's a fantastic champion. I think again he's like a star. I really do. But Ilja Dragunov never lost the UK title. He never lost it. When he came back from injury, it was together and Braun had already put them together. It was like that. It was like he really didn't get a chance to really do what he should have done. He never really lost it. And so it's like you did all of this to Carmelo. Where do you go from here? Kind of vibes. But Carmelo did his nothing but next, and he retained his title in a really fantastic physical match. And I'm interested to see what we're gonna give Carmelo next because Braun has moved on from him clearly. And now Ilja Dragunov lost him, and it's like, what do you do now? Who's next? You know, what do you put him here, and what's next for Ilja Dragunov because he was going after the top guy in NXT. But I thought this was really well done. Again, I like them both, and I wouldn't even mind a rematch because they gave it. We thought they would. We said they were going to deliver, and they did. Fantastic match. But this just shows that these guys are those guys. And so I enjoyed it. And I was okay with either one winning, honestly, because I like them both. It was really hard to pick. I keep asking. I'm like, I really don't know because I really like Carmelo, but I also really like Dragunov. I really do. But yeah, I do think, just to this comment, I do think, which people are thinking they're going to do, I heard that what they might have happened, and it could very possibly cause some discord because we already saw Damien Priest doing some shenanigans, that maybe Finn will beat Seth and then have Damien do it because clearly there's some issues and they can seem cool, but you can see it there. It's there. Damien clearly has some issues, and I know Shay, I see your face. I know you're not gonna be happy about that, but I do think that's where they're going. I could be wrong, but that's kind of, I feel like it's caused more problems with them. Because the solid people right now is obviously Dom and Rhea. They're solid. But there was that weird stuff with Finn and Damien because, you know, whatever. But yes, obviously, otherwise, back to the main event. Super awesome matchup. What were your thoughts on that main event?
Leather Pants will not want to do that. I highly advise that he doesn't do that. I really do. Literally don't. But no, this match was insane. Like, my jaw was on the floor. There were so many times I was like, well, this gotta be it. When Dragunov hit that, I forgot what he hit, but I was like, yeah, Carmelo is not getting up. No man would get up. I forgot he was him. He's not no regular man. He is him. Right. And he did get up. But somehow, also, I hated the contacts. It took away from everything. We got this great goatee. It was giving. Then you got the contacts. We got to let go of the contacts, Dragunov. I've let you have them for too long. I have looked the other way. I'm not looking away, no other way no more. Let this be the last time. This is the graduation of them contacts. Please. Let this be the graduation. I'm not going to lie to you. Dragunov really made me a believer. Like, I really was like, yeah, you can win. Like, it's fine. Like, it's okay. Because he was on business for weeks. He has been on business. I was like, this man deserves it. Just give it to him. Even though I love Carmelo as well, but it was like, you can't deny it. You just can't. And I feel like anyone who had doubts about Carmelo after this match, you're chatting. You're chatting. You have to be, because this man delivered on another level. Give him his 10s. You got to. You got to give him his 10s. 11s even. Like, I loved this match. Probably one of the best matches of the year. 100%, I would say, honestly. Like, they killed it. And I'm just excited. I mean, I don't know what is next for Dragunov. I don't know, like, I mean, he could say, because I mean, Trick did get involved at some point, like moving, Carmelo out the way and taking the hit for him. He has, something to kind of harp on. And this is becoming a reoccurring thing where Trick somehow involves himself and then kind of leaves open this like questioning whenever Carmelo wins. He did it with Braun. Now he's doing it here. Trick, what's going on? I'm not gonna lie. You know what, Sean? You had me. When Trick picked up that title, I said, everything you saying, you absolutely can say without holding this title. You making me nervous, Trick. Because why did you pick up that? Like, I was nervous. I was like, oh no. But it didn't go out that way. But I think it will definitely get to that point. And Trick still wants to have a problem with Dragunov. I don't know what's wrong with you, Trick. I don't know what's wrong with you, because I would not want to have a problem with Dragunov. Like, because I'm a sane person. I wouldn't want to have a problem with that. Like, but, shout out to you. If you want to do that, so be it. But this match was amazing. This PLE was so much fun. Besides Baron and Gable, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah. Outside of that that mess that was Baron Corbin and Gable, and that shenanigans with Tiffany Stratton, because yes, this was a really solid PLE. I thought it was also nice to get them out of the performance center, having them in a bigger crowd seemed to have worked. I did feel once that thing with Corbin happened, it took some of the wind out of the crowd. It took some of the wind out of the crowd. And I think it did change things a little bit. We're gonna stop with these shenanigans, okay? Because no, I had enough negativity for today. Enough negativity. I'm tired of negativity. Let's not bring him up. But yes, I do think I can see Carmelo going to the main roster soon, if not by the end of the year. I don't know if they're gonna do it where he'll go and like leave it, he'll win, keep his title, and they put him up, and then it'll just be like he retired the title as champion from there, or would he'll like lose it, or they just like, I don't know how they would do that, but I do see it. But also, I wouldn't mind on Dragunov either, because I feel like it'll put more of the like smaller guys on the main roster. I think he will work well with. Like, he's again, I'm a huge fan of both of them, and so solid PLE. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done, except for those two moments. I thought it was well done. So thank you guys. That is the end of our NXT Great American Bash PLE recap review post show. Shay, tell everybody what you got going on and where they can find you.
You can find me at Shay Sawyer _ on most platforms. You can catch me with a new episode of the Big Pop Theory podcast every Monday. You can also catch me right back here on Thursday for the Rising Sun Rundown at 5, and then for the NXT Aftershow, where we see all the fallout from this insane PLE at 7 p.m. 8:30 for Dark Side of the Ring, which is for unpopular review. And I think next week. But the week after that, then you can catch me at 11 for the challenge. So yeah.
Nice. Well, as for me, I'm on most social media platforms. InCat We Trust, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. The E is I'm not, because I refuse to call it X. I refuse to call Twitter X. It is Twitter, and so I am the E is a 3 on all those platforms. I will have a new interview coming up with a returning guest. Really excited to have her back. She actually called me to do this, and so super awesome about this. I did see TMNT Mutant Mayhem. If you guys are Ninja Turtles fans, I did see it with my kitties over the past weekend. Over yesterday I saw it. And so I will be reviewing that as well as putting up my review for Insidious 5 because it's been just really hectic. It's been hectic, guys. I'm sorry. But it's coming. It's all coming. And then you can see me on WoW shows on Mondays with Emily, the girly who was getting her coins this weekend, and Stephanie. And then back on Thursdays for the NXT recap show with my 2020 Shayna. But guys, we really, truly appreciate you guys for hanging out with us as always and make me have to go on rants. I did go on a whole rant today, and my apologies. It's just, I knew it was coming. I knew it did. And I was like, you know what? They're going to hear me rant today. But we love you guys, and we appreciate you guys for hanging with us, for watching us, and for being in the comments and supporting as always. And we will catch you guys later. Happy Sunday again, and have a good night. Bye.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1